Now, this is going to be a big, bold, gargantuan claim brought forth to the INFJ pantheon and will likely be subject to the utmost scrutiny. I might be persecuted for witchcraft and be pelted by stone, but I'm not going to talk about that. I've looked through so many INFJ videos and made notes on it, and I hate research. Look at this list. I broke down like halfway through it. I swear like 40% of the videos start off like, oh, here are the INFJ traits. INFJ makes up less than 3% of the population. They are mysterious and complex individuals. Did you make friends with an INFJ today? If so, you are a big fat liar.
And sometimes these videos will be narrated by British Stephen Hawking. God bless his soul. I hope he is doing well in the great universe in the sky.
And sometimes this voice could be female and sound like this. It's very robotic, and oh my goodness, why would anyone watch videos like this? I mean, if you like it, you like it, and I love that you like it, but goodness gracious, slap me in the face, please.
But a couple of videos here and there resonated with me a little bit too close, namely the death stare, the door slam, the absorbing emotions. And yet, I'm kind of surprised that INFJs did not delve into other traits a little bit more. So as an offering to the INFJ pantheon, I will share 6 traits of the INFJ based on experience that INFJs that I watched haven't gone into yet. Some of these points do not apply to all INFJs, nor are they limited to the personality type. And some people might be thinking, hey, well, there are a lot of INFJ videos out there, and didn't we cover everything that there is to know? See, that is a very valid argument. But riddle me this. Does everything encapsulate everything that we know, everything that we don't know, and everything that we don't know that we don't know? Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to make this video. Number 1, you will write a shitload. No, you will write a metric fuck ton of reflective writing. Sorry. Imagine your standard 160-page composition notebook. You set aside some time to pour out your thoughts. Pencil lead glides through the lines straightened out for you. You write until that thought is done or you fall asleep, and then you close the book. By the time you watch this video, you would have already written at least 10 notebooks. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. But for those who actually have thousands of pages of journal entries, when you reflect on more and more experiences, you begin to work out and construct many similar ideas and values in your head, but they all connect somehow. But we'll talk about that later. Number 2A, you will have a very erratic rhythm of talking, something like a mix of coffee table jazz and hellzapoppin'. If I don't edit my voice to sound like I'm more consistent than I already am, this is how I would sound in a conversation. A lot of times I will pause in the middle of a sentence. I will stumble. I will get tongue-tied, but the rhythm will have impeccable flow. Sometimes it's going to speed up. Sometimes it's going to crash. Sometimes I'm going to do this and that and yada, 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 whatever it may be. I will tend to weigh every word like each gold ingot that has to be weighed individually because I want to convey precisely what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling. In general terms, we may emphasize connection and compassion and sympathy and empathy and growth and understanding, and certainly we feel all these things. At the same time, how we convey that comes from a place of logic and calculation. That's because number 2B, when we want to get our point across, we are very careful about what we say and to whom we say it before we say it. And if we are wrong or come off as brash, we will do everything to convey to the offended how we were wrong and what we actually meant. Because we actually don't want to come across that way. We don't want to come across as brash, and we hate conflict. We would hate to be responsible for offending someone. But as a side note, do not mistake us for pushovers. The INFJ can see your bull from miles away. You want to be our friends? Bring your authenticity. Also bring some Ben & Jerry's mint chocolate cookie. Number 2C, your hand gestures are uncommonly sophisticated and will motion according to what you're thinking, how you are feeling, what words you want to emphasize, and what diagrams you drew up in your mind. And they are in lockstep with the erratic rhythm of how you speak. I think this is why very few people that you talk to are sort of impacted by what you say. Not only are your ideas novel, but the way you present them through body language is also more peculiar than most. Number 3, I've been hearing about INFJs explaining something and then asking their friends, does that make sense? But have you also heard them ask to themselves, how do I explain this? The phrase, "how do I explain this?" is followed by a long pause, complemented by the look of intense consideration upon the INFJ's face, as they internally process how they want to convey a point that will not only aim to be understood, but also flow from word to word, from point to point, like a bridge between each island of an archipelago. Number 4, quality equals beauty and practicality. This goes with clothes, food, friends, etc. But essentially, beauty is something that pleases the eye, but we also see it like an activity or the conversation that puts us into a present state of flow. And practicality is like assessing the question, what role does this thing or person play in accordance to my values and beliefs and perception of the world that I've developed after a megaton of reflective writing? I remember one time trying to figure out what to wear before hanging out, and I noticed that it was sunny and cloudless, so I wanted to throw together an outfit that thematically fit not only the weather, but also the environment of the place that we were going to go to and my particular personal philosophy. I know I sound kind of weird about it, but that's what's going on in my mind as I think about these things. Number 5, an epiphany, or the feeling thereof, to a person is one supermassive, life-changing idea. To the INFJ, it's like an explosion of many previous similar ideas finally connecting together by way of unspoken, underlying themes serving as the final piece of the puzzle. When we reflect, we come up with a bunch of ideas at the conclusion of a few reflections, but then those ideas lie dormant because we haven't figured out how those things connect to other ideas. When another idea comes in and then it finally connects perfectly, it's like New Year's fireworks with the 1812 overture playing in the background. That's what an epiphany feels like for the INFJ. So for example, I had this conversation with one of my friends, and for the sake of this video, I will be represented by this tub of Ben & Jerry's mint chocolate cookie, the most underrated flavor in the world. And my friend will be represented by this picture of Leonidas from the rated R blockbuster hit 300. So we were talking about prerequisites for med school, and then the homie Leon brings up this random but interesting thing that he learned. He said, drugs don't actually add anything into your body. They amplify or suppress the performance of the hormones and neurotransmitters in your body that are already there. And then something sparked in my mind that said, oh, and that's why certain people experience withdrawal, because by way of homeostasis, those hormones and neurotransmitters are not going to function as well after the drug wears off. Oh hey, did you know that homeostasis also applies to the conscious and the subconscious? I don't know what just happened there, and I don't know what it is about us, but we really like to connect ideas like that. Even though to a typical person, it might not make sense, or it would kinda make sense, we will somehow be stubborn that this really makes sense. Number 6, how many INFJ quotes on Instagram actually relate to the INFJ? Absolutely 0. Let me explain myself. Let's bring up an example right here. What is wrong with this quote right here? That's right, it's too damn short. Rarely, if ever, does a sentence less than 140 characters, if you will, capture the essence of what an INFJ is actually thinking. Do you want to listen to an INFJ accurate quote? Listen to this. I enjoy conversation. I wasn't built for small talk. But then I had this idea that maybe small talk is the gateway into the deeper conversation that I so thoroughly enjoy. And by conversation, I mean the human connection that bonds human spirit to human spirit. So therefore, small talk is a necessary evil that I will have to be adept to. And maybe the phrase "I wasn't built for small talk" isn't so much a declaration, but it's really a reflection of what I might be lacking. But then if I want to practice small talk, where do I even start? That's like another can of worms right there. Oh my god, my bread is burning in the oven, and I'm going to have to take care of that, so I guess I'm going to have to leave this train of thought unresolved, and it's probably going to fade into the back of my subconscious, but it's probably going to come back by way of spontaneous recovery somewhere in the future. All this happening in the span of 3 seconds. So I hope my ramblings made you understand a little bit more about the INFJ, and I'm super aware that most of the things overlap with what was already said, but I wanted to show some of those ideas to you from a different perspective. Like I said earlier, it doesn't relate to all INFJs. It's not limited to the personality type, but yeah, I don't know how to finish that sentence. So have a great day.